Hi, everybody, and Happy New Year's. Thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of Jimmy's Decorative Moments. I always like to start the show by thanking our sponsors because without them, the show would not be possible. Thank you so much to Be Our Guest Party Rental for providing all the set furnishings. Thank you so much to Glenn and Janice Williams of the Rosendale Arts Alliance for all of your support in starring the show and for keeping it moving. Today I have some really great guests on the show who I love working with. We work together all the time. And you know, one of them actually you'll recognize from a previous episode, and two of them have worked together in the past, and I work with them now, but now here they are on the set reunited, and I can't wait to talk with them and start the conversation. So without much further ado, let's get the show started. Hi everybody, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you, gosh. How's everyone's New Year's going?
Great. Yeah.
Most importantly, what do you think of all the roses?
Love it.
I love it. So Binita, you know, obviously you've been on the show before.
Yes.
I really appreciate you coming back on and just sharing some photography tips. I know a little bit later we'll start talking about photography and all those things and perspective and how to take the perfect shot. But Jackie, so you're with the MFA.
Yes, I am.
What do you do at the MFA?
I do sales and I do all of the external events there. So
Nice.
I'm loving it. Yeah, I just celebrated my 1 year.
You just celebrated it?
Yeah,
Oh my God.
January 8th.
I cannot believe
right?
it went that fast.
I know. It was
Wow,
incredible.
it feels like just yesterday that everyone was like, oh, there's the new girl at the MFA.
Right? Here I am.
I know.
So yeah, it's been great.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Andrew Hirschfield from Restaurant Associates too, but at Google.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long have you been with Restaurant Associates?
I've been there for about 8 months.
Nice.
Feels a little longer, but
You know, I used to work there. I used to work at Restaurant Associates.
No way.
I was a butler.
Oh,
So
really?
I was a butler at Restaurant Associates
That's
at the
so
Museum of
funny.
Science, except it was Wolfgang Puck Catering.
Sure.
So, but it was definitely one of my fondest memories, and I loved working for the company because I always felt like it was so organized. And really, there were all these systems in place and a lot of longevity with the employees. Like, I feel like the people
Absolutely.
there have been there for a really long time. So, but Andrew, I met you through Bill Doan, who's at the Children's Museum now, but Bill was my former boss at the Museum of Science. Yeah, he was the supervisor. So, and actually, the reason I met you, Andrew, is because I'm also working on your wedding.
Small world.
I know, it was nice. And that was like a year ago, too.
yeah, I believe we sat down just about a year ago.
That's so funny that I met the both of you around the same, like you started your new job, he just got engaged and then was like also about to start his new job, but you weren't really starting at RA until later.
Not yet, right. I think about a month after we met was when I first started.
You look really snazzy, by the way. I love it. Thank you for everyone who like took my note and like wore pink or something pink. Like, I love the earrings, Binita, little tassels. You should shake your hair a little bit. She ready. She ready. I love it. And then you have your mauve sweater.
So you're saying it's not pink?
50 Shades of Pink.
It's 50 shades. I know we're like 50 shades of pink right now. Like,
The pillows.
The pillows, I am so happy. Thank you to be our guest because like I love sequins so much and I love anything that sparkles and I feel like 2019 is my year of extra. Like I want to be as extra as possible because I love like extra and fabulous. So, and I'm going to start wearing more sequins and more sparkly things and like just because I love it so much and it makes me so happy, you know?
Well,
so,
those shoes really do it.
Oh, we can't wait, Jimmy.
I'll show the audience my shoes. These are shoes that I bought 2 years ago, I think, or 4 years ago. And so, I know, four. But I wore them, there's a special story behind them, actually. They sparkle, obviously, but I wore them to a holiday party because I had just been in my job for a year and a half, or a year, and I wanted to do something special and wear something special and stand out, and so I bought them, and I love them so much. I remember thinking when I bought them that they were the most beautiful shoes I had ever bought, you know? And they made me feel like I was walking on air, and they made me feel like my most authentic self. You know, like they made me feel so much.
You always stand out, Jimmy.
Oh my goodness. So so how do you two know each other? Like I'm always a little hazy on that, but how do you?
Throw it way back. I started working at Fenway right when I graduated college.
Okay.
And I kind of did like
Where
the
did you go to
operation-
college?
Nichols College out in Dudley, Mass.
Okay.
Shout out.
I thought you were gonna say Dudley Square. I was like, girl. She ready. She is ready.
Yeah, so I kind of started right when I graduated, and I worked there for 5 years, and Andrew also worked there, so we were side by
Damn,
side.
Fenway. Oh my
I know,
gosh.
right?
I love the stadium so much. The people are so nice.
They are.
I find that people who work at sports venues are some of the most down-to-earth, kind people because they just love what they're doing so much and they love being there around all that excitement and all that energy.
Yeah.
And I feel like it really kind of it comes across, you know. So I do a lot with the Red Sox too. I do with the Red Sox Foundation. So I did the Fenway to the Runway event and all that. So
the
really
red roses look really pretty.
yeah, all the red. Yeah, roses are one of my favorite flowers. I know that sounds like, you know, people are like, they try to come up with all these exotic flowers as their favorite flowers, but I really love roses and I love sweet peas. But roses, for sure, I love them because they're just so beautiful and they smell so nice.
Yeah.
And they just are so full. Like when they open up, they're just so fabulous. So definitely one of my favorites. So what were you doing at Fenway?
I started off at Fenway.
Is it weird to be here together right now?
Like, the first we saw each other in the parking lot, like it was like a reunited
How long
moment.
had it been?
Gosh, probably like 8 years.
Oh my God.
Maybe longer.
Well, you guys don't know this, but I had a camera outside filming the entire exchange. So, no, I'm kidding.
Run and jump on him.
Yeah, I started over there when I was in high school. I worked there for 6 seasons. Jackie actually used to be my boss.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. Always getting in trouble.
That's, wow. Oh my God,
Yeah.
boss lady.
I know, right? Yep. So that's it. It was weird. After I left, you know, we never really run into each other again until now.
You two have, okay, can I be honest with you? Like, even without knowing you, someone told me you worked together. I don't know who exactly, but I remember thinking, oh my God, they're so much alike. Like you two are almost the same person. Like
Scary.
the same sweetness, the same sort of like, just like
Bubbly.
unassuming nature. Like you're very
Two peas in a
unassuming. Yeah, 2 peas in a pod.
Danger,
But
danger. No, it's true. That's why I was so excited to see him today.
yeah. Do you miss working together?
Of course.
Of course. And Fenway always has a special place in your heart.
Right.
And free sodas and beers forever.
Well, hopefully you two like are able to kind of engage more after this. Like maybe
Yeah.
get together for coffee or drinks or catch.
Sure.
You're part of the same company.
I
Right,
know.
right.
Did you ever think that would happen?
Right? I know. Now I can email you whenever.
Yeah. Well, it's such a small world, you know, it really is.
But that's really small. You
Yeah.
gotta admit. And now you're a director of catering, and
I know.
so it's like the roles have semi
Right?
swapped. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
know. Damn
So, Benita, you're standing there like a princess over here.
No, I didn't know the
Observing.
connection between
Oh,
us.
yeah.
That's so fun.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But you've worked with Jackie a few times.
Oh, at the MFA, absolutely.
Nice.
Yeah, love it there.
What are some of the events that you've worked together on? Like,
We did quite a bit over the holidays.
Yeah, lots of holidays,
Yeah,
parties.
it was a fun and busy year.
Right? I know. Can't believe it's over.
Looking
Now
forward to
we're-
2018.
Yeah.
can I ask you a question, Binita? What is sort of like, what are the challenges or what is the excitement of photographing in a venue like the MFA, like a cultural institution?
For me personally,
Because you shot some really beautiful events.
and I've been there so many times, but every time I walk in the door, it never feels like it's getting old. It really, honestly,
Yeah.
it's
Always
the
changing.
culture, the history, just the talent that's in that building, and every time I'm there photographing an event, I really do feel this like tremendous responsibility to like really deliver way above and beyond, because it's like, I mean, I don't even know how to put it into words. It's like I have this responsibility to just make sure that I'm documenting the events and the people and the artwork in its best light and in the best capacity that I possibly can. So I do feel very responsible for giving it 110% when I'm there.
Nice, nice. Well, you always photograph my Art in Bloom installations.
Yeah.
And I am doing Art in Bloom again this year. And Andrew, do you know what Art in Bloom is?
I do not.
Art in Bloom is like a celebration of flowers and art. You know, so it happens the last weekend in April, and it happens at the MFA. And they gather all these garden clubs and all these like private florists to, you know, execute designs inside the museum that complement a piece of artwork.
Oh, okay.
So my first year, I actually did the inside of the Huntington Avenue entrance. The next year, I did the Fenway entrance outside. And so this year, it's to be determined. But every single time I get the email inviting me to do Art in Bloom, I always get so excited. Like, it always feels like the first time. It always feels like this thrilling adventure and this like, oh my God, like, you know, and all these like, and you know, and I don't even know the location, but I fantasize about where it might be and like what the concept and what I'm gonna call it, because I always do videos for it and I always do like little like interview things. So, but I am very excited, and I do love the MFA for that reason, because it's just so inspiring, and it really like you have a responsibility, but you also have this like, you feel this calling to like produce something that's interesting and cool, you know? So, especially when given the liberty to. But yeah, so like, so Restaurant Associates is interesting because you have these cultural institutions like the Children's Museum, which I also love. I love doing events at the Children's Museum with Bill. And then it's like, but then you have something like Google, which is like a corporate office. So it's like, how does the companies, like, I mean, do you feel that, like, as employees in different venues? Like, do you feel like the other venues, is there a lot of like sort of communication or?
It's kind of like all one big family. I mean, it's, you know, in different sectors.
Because you share the same butler pools too, right? Okay, okay.
Yep, so it's nice to kind of bounce ideas off other venues or, you know, see what they're doing or how you can relate. And, you know, I actually came from the Boston Convention Center and that was also under Compass. So it was like just kind of a lateral transfer. So it was awesome. So
what's your favorite part of your jobs?
Oh, geez.
I would Who's cheese?
Oh my goodness. I would say probably just seeing the clients, you know, at the end, all their happiness and success of the event that gives me
You care
internal.
so much.
I do.
You care so much. Like she stays there. She's there at all hours of the night. She stays the
Till
entire
the bittersweet.
till the end. I'm like, you're like the only
For the
person.
food.
Like you like stay. Well, girl.
No, it's true. I'm passionate about it. So.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. But again, that's where you two are the same because it's like Andrew is like very, very attuned and he's just like very into like everything being perfect. And it's like, and you're the same way. Like you both come off very cheerful and very kind and very warm and very sweet, but you're both very on your game at the same time, and especially with your clients. So that's something, you know, I didn't realize, or you wouldn't think but that's what makes you so great at what you do, right? As catering people, because it's like you need to have that demeanor, but also that focus at the same time, and I think that's amazing. So
thank you.
That's why I love Restaurant Associates because it's like I felt that when I worked there. And you never feel like, oh, you're just a waiter. Like I never felt like just a butler. Like I always felt like I was part of this whole energy and this force that was like bringing the whole thing together, you know?
Well, and that's the thing I will say about the MFA. It's such a large institution. And it's such a large space, but when you walk in, you see somebody like Jackie, or or other people that you work there with so frequently. It feels like family. It feels like home. So it's like that feeling of, oh my God, this is such a big museum, it's such a big space. Just really kind of becomes a lot cozier.
Absolutely.
All of a sudden.
And everyone has the same goal, is to make everyone happy and the event to be a success. So
absolutely.
Benita, can I ask? Okay, so you also at the same time have an entity that photographs corporate events. So like corporate events like at places like Google and like so it's like how is that what is different about photographing in a cultural institution, like an artsy institution, and then like a corporate event?
So typically when I walk into the MFA, first of all, who's your client? That's my first question. Is it a personal event for a family, or is it an event for the museum? So the perspective kind of is different based on that. If it's for a family or a private event, really the focus is on intimate moments, family, close friends, and really kind of getting the mood and the excitement of people cheering and having a great time, and the hugs and the laughs and all that kind of stuff. When it's maybe an internal event for the museum, or perhaps if it's a corporate client even at the museum, the focus tends to be more, what are these images going to be used for ultimately? Similar if we were to do an event with Google, and are these pictures going to be used perhaps for marketing purposes? Are they going to be used on the website? Does the executive team want to look at these pictures? So that kind of, I think, it helps to know what the ultimate purpose of the images are, to really kind of make sure that I approach it with the right sense of authenticity. Like for example, like when we did the portraits for all of your guests from last season's event, or last season.
I loved those. So Binita, I have to pause.
Yeah.
Binita came up with a brilliant idea of photographing everybody that was on the first season at the SOA Power Station.
I love it there.
It's a really cool open air venue, but it was all against a brick wall, right? Like this brick wall, and everyone was sort of photographed in this industrial environment. So there was consistency. It was a brilliant idea. Like I loved your idea of doing that, and all the images came out so fabulously.
Well, we were chatting at the end of last season, and with last year being his first season, and it was a huge stepping stone in your career. And I was like, we got to do something to really commemorate it. above and beyond a party. You know, like how do we kind of document this? That's how I kind of always look at things. Is how do I document things in a way that people can cherish and treasure those memories? You know, even if it is for corporate, it's documentation that hopefully will live on in the company's history. If it's a personal event, I'm documenting it to really, when people look back at those images, they can relive the day and relive those memories. So I wanted to give Jimmy a way to kind of relive season 1 and for the guests to relive season 1.
It was so fun. Like, can you imagine not having been on the show for 10 months and then to be asked to have your portrait taken and then to see the portraits at this party? Because what we did then was like, we had all these TV screens at the party and everyone, all the portraits were like, it was just so sweet.
Well, and so my goal
so
with
sweet.
the portrait, I wanted to do everybody on a comparable backdrop, but yet I needed to, because that's so important to me, is to bring out individual personalities. It's not just about taking a cookie cutter photo of, you know, 30 people that were on the season. I really kind of got to know each person individually. You know, people came in different time slots throughout the day, kind of got to chat with them for a couple minutes, get to know them, like, oh, what side do you like? You know, tell me a little bit about yourself. You know, where do you work? What do you do? And just very quickly, in a couple of minutes, try to get to know these people so that I could bring out their most authentic personalities on camera. And you'll see in some of the portraits that we took from last season's guests, you know, some people are laugh out loud kind of people. Some people are a little bit shyer and more reserved, and you know, I kind of wanted to bring out that quiet beauty that's inside of them. Some people are a little bit edgier and sassier, and they want to kind of, that's how they want the world to see them. So that's really, I think, what it boils down to, and especially when I do portraits, is how does the person in front of my lens want the world to see them?
I love that so much.
And there's sort of like this cross section between that and then what I see in them, because sometimes we see ourselves a certain way,
Right.
but then others see us in a different way. And I think the combination of those two things is what makes people who they are.
That is,
I love that.
yeah. I love it too. I love it too.
That's nice.
That's really awesome. So Binita, like, I mean, you know, nowadays everyone's taking pictures, right? They're taking pictures on Instagram, they're taking pictures, etc. So like, you know, given the fact that there's so many different mediums of capturing images, what are some things that a novice like individual would like need to think about to at least capture like a really well thought out photograph? Like,
I always say, even if you're taking a picture on your iPhone or your cell phone, light is key. Lighting is the most important thing. You can take in like an ordinary, you know, structure, but if you get the light coming in from the right angle, I think that's really the key to it all. I always kind of chuckle because sometimes, you know, when we're in these beautiful venues or you know, against a window where there's a beautiful view outside the window, people always want to line up against the window. And they're like, oh, then they say, hey, you know, let's get the view behind us, but you're really kind of fighting the light. The light's kind of coming in. So you'll notice that sometimes in pictures.
Because that's why you're dim in front of a window.
Exactly.
Okay.
So there's different ways to work around that, but you know, you always want the light to work in your favor. Let the light shine on you.
Please.
Or your shoes.
I'm ready. I'm ready. So like, do you have any favorite apps for photography? Like, are there any apps on iPhones that you feel like are cool?
I mean, I think we all have it now. Portrait mode.
I was gonna say
What is
portrait.
mode?
Portrait mode. Yeah, portrait mode.
What is
so
that?
I mean, there's regular pictures that you can take, and then there's like there's video and slow motion. And there's another mode called portrait, and what it kind of does is it.
Is this
really,
on iPhone?
It's on the iPhone.
Oh wow. Okay. No, I know. I just want our audience to know.
It's on the newer iPhones.
Yeah.
I think they just came out with that
It is.
feature a few years ago. So if you have a really old iPhone, you may not have it. But it really kind of puts a lot of focus on the subject that's in the foreground or the front of the picture,
wow.
and then softens the background to give it that sort of professional look. And if you couple that with great lighting,
Nice.
I mean, you have a winner right there.
I know. I feel like iPhone, the App Store, has so many cool like ways you can like manipulate your images. You can make them into cartoons.
Yeah,
you
that's
can
not the
do
key though. The key
I know.
really is to kind of, in my opinion, you can take an authentic picture even on the iPhone.
Oh my
I
god.
use the portrait mode, especially in the catering world, to photograph food.
Food.
It really
100%,
enhances, you know, the image of the food, and it really, like Binita was saying, it draws out the background.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So it really focuses and enhances that, you know, the main
Just
image
makes your
that you're
subject
taking.
pop.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I need to try that with flowers because I feel like if I want like a certain flower to come into focus, then that might be a good way of
Absolutely.
pushing everything else to the background, you know?
Yeah.
So, oh my goodness. Well, we have a few minutes left. I just want to hear like what your year is looking like. Like, Andrew, you're getting married.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. I know. I'm doing the flowers. Yeah.
I said we're gonna hide in the sand dunes. Watch him get
I
married.
know. I'm so excited for that wedding. It's like, yeah. So,
Very
it's
exciting.
very white.
Yeah.
What else? Whites, just whites and greens, or what are you doing?
Where are you getting married?
Cape Cod,
beautiful.
Witchmere Beach Club in Harwich.
Oh,
Yeah, we're really excited. It's
flawless
in
down
November,
there.
so it's a little during the off season, the slower season for me. But we're really excited to have Jimmy be a part of that. So yeah,
It'll be very
more
cool.
TBD.
Love it.
How's your year, Jackie?
Good. I'm just gearing up for.
Do you feel like finally like you're in your skin there?
Yeah.
Like you're
It takes about a full year, I would say, to kind of understand, you know, the insides and the outs of, you know, rules, regulations, and all that fun stuff. But I just the people I've met alone in the past year, including you two, it's just been so wonderful. Everyone's been so kind and welcoming.
nice.
So yeah, just kind of gearing up. It's kind of like a little downtime right now before we kind of.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to like mentally regroup and
It
get your
is.
equilibrium. Like Stella's got to get her groove back.
So that was like your
yeah.
trip to New York, right?
Yeah, my trip to New York. Oh my gosh. I went to New York. I think I told you. I went to New York and like I just saw theater shows and I watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel like the entire time and pretended I was her the entire time.
Yeah.
And there was this huge billboard in Times Square of her, and I every time I walked by it, I always felt like she was talking to me. So, but yeah, no, I did rest a little bit, and then I was actually sick last week, so I needed to kind of get my energy back. But yeah, so it was all good. Binita, how's your year looking?
great. I mean, I'm coming off of like a little mini world
Gosh,
tour. Honestly.
everywhere. I'm jealous.
So I took the end of last year to just kind of get away and reset. Traveled the world a little bit. I just went to Dubai, went to India.
I know your image is. Oh my God, you're okay. We have to end soon, but your image where you're like someone took a picture of you where
At the
you're
Taj
like.
Mahal.
It was
At
sunrise.
sunrise.
you
We
need
went
to-
at sunrise.
You need to send it to us,
Oh
the
my
producers, so
goodness.
we can put it on the.
I
want to
will.
include it in this episode because it is such a beautiful image. It's
Thank
such-
you. And we went at sunrise, and it really just makes you reflect about life so much to be in awe of this amazing place, and the sun is coming up. So I'm refreshed and recharged for the year, and
That's-
ready to rock and roll.
I feel like the caption of that photo should be, "She ready." As she looks out into the horizon, as if her eyes are watching God. Everybody, thank you so much for joining us on today's episode of Jimmy's Decorative Moment. I so appreciate you tuning in. As always, it's a blast and it's so much fun. And I couldn't, so many giggles today, But thank you to Andrew, thank you to Jackie, and thank you to Binita so much for coming on the show and joining me today. I want to thank our sponsors again. Thank you so much to Be Our Guest Party Rental for providing all the set furnishings. Thank you so much to Glenn and Janice Williams of the Rosendale Arts Alliance for your support and for keeping the show going. Enjoy your day, find decorative moments in your everyday life, and tune in next time. Thank you so much.